Tonight is a special night at the White House. It's Donald and Melania's 20th wedding anniversary. 20 years is a long time, especially for Melania.
Mr. President is at it again, throwing epic tantrums after Jimmy Kimmel, the master of roasts, spilled some seriously embarrassing tea about his marriage. Remember when Melania's rumored fling with Justin Trudeau was all anyone could talk about?
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard.
Well, Kimmel's latest reveal makes that look like child's play, and Trump's reaction is pure gold honestly.
I was going to make stuff up about him. I'd start telling people he wears diapers.
And as we all know, Jimmy Kimmel is one of the few people in mainstream media who isn't afraid to go after Trump. And he does it without hesitation, without fear, and without holding back.
We had the choice between a prosecutor and a criminal, and we chose the criminal to be president of the year.
While other networks dance around Trump, carefully choosing their words, Kimmel, he goes straight for the jugular.
I'm guessing he noticed a bunch of people posting about his anniversary, which reminded him, oh, it's my anniversary. So he then reposted this sweet photo of Melania literally pushing him away from her.
For years, the media has treated Trump like some kind of untouchable figure, either praising him outright or cautiously criticizing him just enough to avoid setting him off. It's not hard to see why. Trump doesn't just get mad when people mock him, he gets obsessed. He holds grudges like no other public figure, turning minor jokes into multi-day news cycles. And when he's mad, he goes after people.
As Trump derangement syndrome. Well, now that is false. And there's only one person who suffered from Trump derangement syndrome. His name is Donald Trump, okay?
Trump has always been obsessed with controlling his image. But the problem is, he's just not very good at it. He treats every joke as a personal attack, every roast as a political conspiracy, and every comedian as a sworn enemy. And the more he fights it, the worse it gets. Late-night television has been making fun of presidents for decades.
Donald Trump has an encyclopedic memory.
That's right.
Bush was mocked for his vocabulary. Obama was roasted for his drone policies. Even Bill Clinton's scandals became late-night gold. But the difference? They all knew how to take a joke. They let the comedians do their thing, took a few hits, and moved on.
This Donald Trump, is like the Emperor from Star Wars. He's old, he's evil, and he keeps coming back with no reasonable explanation whatsoever.
Trump, on the other hand, he doesn't move on. He fixates. He spirals. And when that happens, it's like watching a snowball roll downhill. Except the snowball is made of all-caps truth social posts and 3 a.m. rants. Back in 2018, when Trump was still in office, he actually tried to use government power to shut down late-night comedy.
I was going to make stuff up about him. I'd start telling people he wears diapers. I would explain that it's a long trial. He drinks a lot of Diet Cokes to stay awake. He's getting up there in years, and it's perfectly normal for a man of Trump's age and carriage to wear absorbent undergarments.
The White House contacted Disney, the parent company of ABC, and asked them to rein in Jimmy Kimmel. Yes, while running the most powerful country in the world, Trump was so upset over monologues that he had his team make phone calls to stop them.
Babe, be honest. Last week, did you guys send that monologue to a Republican like I asked you to?
The reports surfaced in 2023 when Rolling Stone broke the story. At least 2 calls were made from the Trump administration to Disney executives, warning them that Kimmel's jokes were crossing the line. It wasn't about policy. It wasn't about national security. It was about a late-night comedian making fun of Trump's hair, hands, and marriage. But instead of making Kimmel stop, this move backfired spectacularly.
Next minute, there's a reporter chatting with some bro at Arizona State who said he voted for Trump because Kamala didn't go on Joe Rogan's podcast. And I'm like, where did I leave my passport? Is this... My kids were very upset. Every once in a while when something bad happens...
Because the moment people found out that Trump was trying to silence a comedian using government resources, the internet went nuclear. Kimmel didn't back down. He did the opposite. He exposed Trump's fragile ego on air, turning the entire situation into a bigger joke than before.
You could have left this speech, watched 2 episodes of Game of Thrones, come back, and he would still have been going. And to kick things off, Trump went to one of his signature moves to start it. And I know there's a lot of competition. But this, I think, this might be the dumbest thing he does. Who does that? Donald Trump shows more affection to flags than Eric and Don Jr. have ever gotten in their whole life.
And Trump, he made it even worse for himself. He started lashing out, calling Kimmel a no-talent hack, and ranting about late-night TV being controlled by the radical left. He claimed that comedians were unfairly targeting him, as if he wasn't the most ridiculous public figure alive at the time. The irony is, Trump's reactions are what make these jokes so powerful. If he ignored them, they'd fade away. But instead, he takes the bait every single time. And when he does, it's not just a late-night joke anymore. It turns into a full-blown cultural moment.
Trump has reportedly made $6 billion from the new crypto coin he launched 3 days before his inauguration. No one seems to have a problem with this. For all the talk about Hunter and Burisma and the Biden crime family, Trump just made $6 billion out of thin air, and they ask him about it, he just laughs it off.
You launch your crypto coin every day. Do you intend to continue selling products that benefit yourself personally while you're president?
Well, I don't know if it benefited. I don't know where it is. I don't know much about it other than I launched it. I heard it was very successful. I haven't.
Because when Trump gets mad, the internet pays attention. And when the internet pays attention, the memes start flying. And if there's one joke that truly set Trump off, it was about his marriage. In 2017, Melania Trump swatted Trump's hand away while they were walking on a tarmac in Israel. The moment was caught on camera, and the internet never let it go. The clip became a meme almost instantly. People analyzed the footage like it was a Zapruder film, debating whether Melania's rejection was a sign of marital tension or just a reflex reaction.
It was an absolute disaster of a night for Melania.
And then, in 2024, Jimmy Kimmel brought it back. He made a brutal joke about Trump and Melania's arranged marriage, suggesting that the only reason she's still around is because of a legal contract. The internet ate it up. The hand swat clip resurfaced. Old videos of Melania avoiding Trump's touch, refusing to smile, and looking miserable at events flooded social media. And then there was the joke about Melania's noise-canceling headphones. Kimmel suggested that she sleeps in a separate room because of Trump's snoring, comparing the sound to a freight train, a chainsaw, and a malfunctioning leaf blower combined.
Jimmy Kimmel's a loser. We would do Jimmy Kimmel. I'd do Jimmy Kimmel. I did him a lot.
Yeah.
He used to greet me on the sidewalk outside of his studio. I'd come in. This was before politics, of course. But I'd come in, and he'd be standing on the sidewalk. Oh, sir, may I bring you in? He'd bring me in every time. And then I ran for politics.
The meme machine went into overdrive. Twitter threads, TikTok edits, and YouTube compilations popped up, all dissecting every awkward interaction between Trump and Melania over the years. But what really set Trump off was the speculation that Melania wasn't just unhappy, she was trapped.
Hey, speaking of prisoners, this should be an interesting Valentine's Day at the White House. For instance, will Donald Trump get flowers from Vladimir Putin? We don't know. And what about his wife, Melania? Will they spend the night together, or will she remain trapped like Rapunzel at their apartment in New York?
The internet started joking that she was a prisoner, staying in the marriage only to secure a massive inheritance. People started analyzing her facial expressions, her body language, even her past statements about Trump. The Free Melania movement, which had been a running gag since 2016, suddenly came roaring back.
You know, Melania Trump has a new line of greeting cards. They carry these now at CVS. They're interesting, actually. I've not seen any. Happy Valentine's Day. Open out, saving.
Melania Trump has always been an enigma, but when it comes to Trump's never-ending war with comedians, her silence is deafening. Late-night hosts have mocked Trump for years, tearing apart his ego, his intelligence, his scandals. But the one thing that truly gets under his skin is when they go after his marriage. And yet, through all of it, Melania has never defended him. Not once.
And the audience went wild, and they loved it. 6 months later, he stood up, and he said, I'd like to apologize for doing that. He lost his whole audience when he did that.
For years, Trump and Melania's relationship has been the internet's favorite mystery. Right up there with what's in Area 51 and Who keeps buying Nickelback albums?
When Michelle Obama was criticized, Barack Obama was quick to defend her. When Jill Biden was targeted, Joe Biden didn't hold back. Even Hillary Clinton, after all the humiliation she endured in the 90s, stood by Bill's side when necessary. But Melania, she lets Trump sink. And that's where the speculation begins. It's not just that she doesn't defend him, it's the moments that suggest she might secretly agree with the jokes. One of the most viral moments in Trump's entire presidency was January 20th, 2017, his inauguration day. While the world was watching, Melania stood next to Trump, smiling politely as he turned to acknowledge her.
So I said to our great First Lady, who can draw a crowd? Did you watch me tonight on television, First Lady? People love our First Lady out there. Go out and get a book. She just wrote a book. I hope she said good things about it. I don't know. I didn't. So busy. She just wrote a book called Melania. Go out and buy it. It's great.
But the second he turned away, her face dropped. Her smile vanished in an instant, replaced by an expression so cold, so tense, that people started calling it the icy death stare. The clip spread like wildfire. Within hours, Twitter and Reddit were filled with theories. Was she just tired? Annoyed? Or was this a glimpse into the reality of their marriage?
And if she says bad things about me, I'll call you all up and I'll say, don't buy it, get rid of it.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom.
Then came May 22nd, 2017. Trump and Melania were in Israel, walking side by side on a red carpet. Trump reached for her hand. Melania swatted it away. The clip went viral immediately. It wasn't even subtle. It was public, on camera, in front of world leaders. People started speculating whether she was forced into the marriage, whether she was unhappy, or whether she simply couldn't stand him. And Trump? He pretended it didn't happen.
And then I ran for politics. I never, got involved with them much. But all they do is talk bad about Trump. That's all. The whole show is talking bad about Trump.
He is a ridiculous person.
But this wasn't an isolated incident. Throughout Trump's presidency, Melania constantly refused to smile next to him. There are dozens of photos where she looks tense, uninterested, and detached, standing next to her husband like she's fulfilling a contract rather than sharing a life with him. At Trump's 2020 election night party, as he stood on stage soaking in applause, Melania barely reacted. She stood there, expressionless, only flashing a forced smile when the cameras were directly on her. And there you have it, the gestures and moments that fuel the fire for comedians to keep the jokes coming about this seemingly troubled marriage. If you've noticed the same tensions in their relationship, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like this video. Your support helps us keep these conversations going.